Hello, 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 hello. I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son whose name is Owen, and he helps me paint our backgrounds for our paintings with a hand over hand method, working on his fine motor skills. He has autism, and so he has a hard time with things like utensils and pencils and paintbrushes. So we are working on that to see and help with his skills. So I paint a lot of flowers, and I am going to paint some flowers tonight, but I've been doing this kind of messy paint, and that's where we're at right now. So we're in the thick of the mess here. We are in the thick of the mess. Sometimes I use that brush, sometimes I use like this, and we may still end up using more of both of them. For a long time, I was painting roosters like every day. And now every once in a while, I will still paint something different than flowers. But I've been painting a lot and lots and lots of flowers. I started painting with my son many years ago now, and I had never really painted before. And I started painting so to work with him on his skills. Well, yes, we are definitely working on his skills, and we've made huge. He's made incredible progress. But now painting is almost, if not more, for me. And it's just it's one of those things that I love it. I need it. I need to paint for my own, creativity, my own moments, my own thoughts. But it gives me such a joy to be able to share this with my son, and then to be able to just share our story, And so that's the incredible part about this, is being able to share our journey. So, now that it's been years later, I look forward to painting with him, and I look forward to putting stuff, messy stuff sometimes, on the canvas. And if you've watched any of them before, I tend to I've used two, but I tend to use one paintbrush when I'm painting the flowers. I just like the way the colors all kind of blend together, and I use the just all the different shades and let them just kind of be there, and it's technically still has some of the red in there for it. And that is, if you've watched before, I started to laugh because I always say I like to watch paint dry, and I really do. I like to see what works and what doesn't work, and what needs to be changed, and what, how things should look, and just all of it. And so it's a huge learning curve for me, but I'm fascinated by paint and what happens as I go along. And if you've watched before, you know, a lot of times when I paint something, I paint like over it. Kind of like I'm about to do right now. And I'm okay with that because, you know, it's part of the process, and it's part of like the flower arrangement or whatever else this is. So, um, very rarely do I ever paint in days. Like, I paint one painting sitting down, just doing one, and then it's done. I don't like generally come back to it. Now, there have been a few occasionally that I have come back to, but most of the time it's sit here until I'm done, and just depends on my mood as to when we're done. And I'm doing this whole thing around the edges here, and a lot of this will probably end up being covered up, but that's okay. So we just keep going. We just keep going. These are all the colors that I put on my paper, and at the end I spread all this out, and it dries. This is what happens. It dries, and then once it dries, I peel it off of the paper, and then I make jewelry with it. And that's in the, make all kinds of different, I have magnets, and I'll have keychains and different things. And I'm still working on them, but I have a few of them on my website. But I've got so many things that I'm like so far behind on. My mom always said life happens when you have something else planned, and right now I seem to be planning and doing things that, well, life. We've got lots going on. Lots and lots. So my mom, since I've mentioned her, she's got the green thumb. And so I just paint them because she amazes me with what she can do with, you know, the things. And I'm so far from green thumb. And even when I paint, they're not always, you know, truly realistic looking, but that's okay. They can be whatever they need to be. Because, you know, when you're painting, things come out the way they want to. So, not everything looks like a flower, but sometimes it's just shades in the background, so it's all good. Or that's what I tell myself. So, I haven't done a lot of pink lately, and I decided to put pink on my paper, my palette here. But it's kind of like one of those colors that doesn't necessarily match what I'm doing right this minute, but I think it's gonna be a spot in, like, kind of a bold spot, so it'll work out. It'll work when it's supposed to. So we're just gonna keep going. I could probably tell you I'm tired, but if you've watched before, you probably know that. I like to repeat myself a lot too. And I put a lot, I'm about to drop a whole bunch of paint. I put a lot of paint on my paintbrush a lot of times. And so when I'm doing that, you know, it's all about those colors I was talking about, how I like to see all the colors on there. But sometimes what happens is I'm not paying attention, or I'm going too fast, or I get too excited. And when that happens, I drop the paint. And dropping the paint just reiterates the fact that I put too much paint on my paintbrush. But it's okay. Again, it's okay. We just keep going until we get it right. I went back and forth on this because at first I thought I was going to do something completely different. And then I had in my head that I was going to do sunflower because this background just kind of made me think that. And then I decided to put that green paint on top of it, and still thought about doing just sunflowers. And then you see that has not happened. And that happens a lot, where I think I'm going to do one thing and does not happen. Doesn't even kind of happen. And that's okay. I mean, it is, you know. But I'm well aware that I have this I have this need to not paint what I think I'm going to paint. Besides flowers, you see. And the thing that I told you I was going to end up hiding most of it, I didn't really want to hide it as much as I just did. I was going to put this up here. So I'm kind of a little bit surprised at myself what I just did there. So I might have to reinvent the wheel here just a little. We'll see. Because I just didn't want that. I wanted it intertwined, but I didn't want this hiding all of that. So we'll see what happens as it dries here. Maybe that's what we'll do. That might work out for the best. We'll just kind of, I don't know. See, we just keep going. That's the thing about this is if you make, you know, one thing go one way, then you just change your mind and do something different. It'll be all right. Because it's just paint. It's just paint. I have to remind myself of that sometimes. But it's okay. It's okay. Oh. It'll get there when it's supposed to, I'm supposing. This is kind of, oh, you know, I didn't really see, once I have like one color, I don't really want that color like right there because it'll confuse it. So we have to kind of mush it a little bit. But we'll just work it. Make it happen. Make it happen. Make it do something. And see what's going to happen right here is I'm going to go right back over the thing that I just did with the extra blue. But that's, again, we're just going to go for it. I was going to say that's okay, but I feel like we already know that's okay. So, but I had to say that because then I had already said it. I had already started to say it, I should say. So I really want to put another red one right here, but you see that's right there. So, but guess what? It's happening. This has a little blue on it. I wanted to, it's a little darker, so it'll, you know by now what I was going to say. I am going to come in here. My dark green is like all underneath this bright green. It kind of made itself mush down here, partly because of the way I put it on the plate. So I'm just gonna kind of mush all of this in there while I have it going, because I'm gonna do another little flower up there, straighten something out, do my yellow. I need another yellow something or other right here, and I'm just gonna kind of add that in, and I think I'm even gonna do a yellow up here. And did you see that? If you didn't see it, you have to hit replay. I almost again dropped right there while we were talking about it. I almost dropped. I wanted the red to kind of mush in it. That's the technical term, mush. Mush. And then I'm just gonna add a little of the green on it. So I think we're getting close. I think we're getting super close. I want kind of, it's almost feel like, what are they, like snap pea, snapdragon something flowers. That's what they kind of remind me of. This blue seems too precise or something. I might need a little, like, sometimes the shading or it looks too symmetrical or something. I'm not sure. So I'm just kind of re-evaluating that one. And then over here, the one that I put under and put over and put under and put over, just want it to be a little more something. I had some red on there, so now we have a bright red. We're gonna about have some other color too. So I made a big deal about having that over, and now I want part of it back under. This is what happens. This is what happens, I'm telling you. And so then I make another decision. Just keep going until, like I said, you just keep going till it all mushes together. That's what happens. This is what happens, you see. Okay, I think I'm getting the picture. What needs to, that's what we need. Still bothering me. It just feels out of place. Something feels out of place. It's gotten out of hand. It's just out of hand. That's the problem. It's out of control. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put some red to cover it up some more. So this is what happens, people. This is what happens. We have to think outside of the box. So the blue was just, I couldn't ever get the little spiky doodles the way I wanted it. It just wasn't working. So we're just adjusting. You see what happens. We're just going to completely adjust. See? There. Look at that. Now it's got some blue in there, but we've made it. We've made it through. We've done some considerable action there. But I feel better about that. I just wanted that there. Random, I know, but I think I need a little more. So it's like that. And we're gonna make that. And then it happens. Stuff like that happens. Okay. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, see, I can play with this all night. So we do O for Owen, because he's the foundation of why I paint. And then L and B. So we got there. We eventually got there. I keep looking at it like I want to do something else. So I'm stopping now. So what I had said, see, this just goes out like this, so I'll get it all mushed down, and that's that. So I thank you for watching and being a part of our journey. So you have a great rest of your day. Toodles!